Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ben Lister YouTube channel where I put all my podcasts on. Today's episode 6 with Ross Carrick from Lynx FM, KCFM and every Compass FM and lots of other radio stations. He's from Louth, so I hope you enjoy it. Please like, subscribe and comment on this video if you like. That'd help me a lot. Thank you and enjoy, and I'll see you for the wrap up after. Be out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chatterbox podcast with me, Ben Lister. Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Chatterbox podcast. We have had a lot of big guests, so let's crack on with today's guest. In previous episodes, we had guests such as we travelled to Wivensey to meet poet Richard Harries, then drove back to Hull to meet club promoter Andy Yo-Yo, and then we spoke to my friend Paula Cayley about her cancer journey. And last time we travelled down south for episode 4 to meet Alan Hyde, and last time we had the one, the only Neil Fox. But today we have from Lynx FM, Compass FM, KCFM, and all the FMs in the region, it's the one, the only Ross Carrick. Hello, Ross. Welcome along.
Oh, bless you. That's very kind. Thank you very much. What an introduction. And after all those big guests you've had, why did you lower yourself to this? You're very kind. Thank you very much.
Just because I want to interview local people as well.
Well, that's it. You've got us local folk, and then you got the big celebrity. So you've got an even balance there. I think that's right.
Yeah, I've got Martin Kellner later on.
Very good, very good. That's what we like. I look forward to listening.
Yep. This'll go on my website, of course, straight after. 5 questions, if that's okay.
Absolutely, fire away.
Are you ready to rumble in the jungle?
Certainly are. Let's go for it.
Let's begin. Question 1. Where did you start your broadcast career?
I live in Louth in Lincolnshire. I started at the hospital radio station here in Louth at the county hospital, Spire Hospital Radio, which, just like the hospital, was very, very small. It doesn't even exist now. They've actually closed it down, but that's where I started. I think like many of the people that you'll speak to started. So I started collecting the requests on the wards, and then started doing some presenting the request program, and then presenting my own program. So putting that together and getting a feel of what that was like. And after a couple of years of Spire, they said to me, "Oh, well, why don't you think about sending a demo tape in to Lynx FM?" Because obviously that was the local commercial station to me here in Louth. So I sent a demo tape in, and again, I would think like a lot of people, sent one in and didn't hear anything for a long time, a year until I heard something. And then things went from there. I did freelance, unpaid work just for the love of it, and then freelance work, and then my first proper gig, proper job was when somebody went on maternity leave at KCFM. So they sent me over to KC for a year to cover maternity there, and it all went from there. But at the very start was, apart from Bedroom FM, of course, my very own Carrick FM, award considered Carrick FM. In my bedroom after school, the first thing after that was Spire Hospital Radio here in Louth.
Yeah, because some of my friends work for KCFM, like Paul Woodford.
The brilliant Paul, yeah, always got a smile on his face, always does a top job, completely professional, TV and radio, yeah, spot on. I haven't spoken to Paul in a long time, but he's a top bloke.
He was recently on a podcaster, man, and I also was speaking to another friend of yours who you may know or you may not know, Darren Leatham, as well.
I know Darren Leatham very, very well. I might even say too well. But yeah, I know Darren. I've worked with and somebody else I haven't seen for a lot. I've spoke to for a long time now. But Hull legend, a little bit like yourself.
Pete Mills?
No, I don't know Pete. Never met Pete. Never worked with Pete. But I know the good work that he does at Hull Kingston Radio. Well, that was until he gave Darren a show. I think he must have been having a bad day.
He's given me a show as well.
So yes, great. That's what community radio is doing really good stuff at the minute. So yeah, good on everybody for doing it. I think it's great.
Yeah, and also there's a lot. Who was the Hull legend? Sorry.
Well, the whole legend was between you and Darren. If I had to pick one person, I think it would have to be you. I'm not sure Darren would be so keen of me saying that, but if we could split it half and half,
I'd say Darren. I'd say Darren because he's worked at Viking FM, KCFM, Magic, and he's worked with a lot of my heroes. So I have to say Darren.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll go. He'll love that. He'll love that.
Yeah, he's a legend anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Question 2. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting growing up?
Well, I was thinking about this earlier after you'd sent the questions, and when I was growing up, my parents listened to local radio all the time. I don't really remember them listening to national radio at all, really. I can remember growing up with Links FM. And John Marshall, who's still at Links FM now, who does the mid-morning show now, he did breakfast show when I was growing up. And I remember very well growing up listening to John and some of the other guys that were on Links FM, Eddie Shaw and Rob Hammond. Never in a million years did I think there would once upon a time be colleagues, and I would work alongside them. That was a bit of a dream, but I certainly remember growing up listening to them and kind of thinking, oh, I really like this. I really like the idea of this job. I'd really like to have a go at it. And then as I got more and more into radio and started listening to more radio, I think the person that is a true inspiration to me, and I absolutely love listening to, and I think he's a master of his craft and he's just brilliant at the job, is Steve Wright on Radio 2, who I think is just a first-class broadcaster, absolutely brilliant broadcaster.
One of my favourites is, as you say, I've interviewed some of my heroes, like I interviewed Stephanie Hurst a few months ago.
Yeah,
Steve Jordan as well.
Oh, what a voice! I remember when I got the job at KCFM. First show I did at KCFM was mid mornings, and so I used to be on air 10 till 2. And I remember driving home, and I would flick around as radio people do, listening to different radio stations. And I remember putting Viking on, and Steve was on Drive on Viking at the time. And I remember thinking, what a voice this guy has got. He's just got one of the best voices for radio. He just absolutely fills the radio. He sounds fantastic. So yeah, another local legend who's still on the airwaves, which is great.
Not in this area, unfortunately.
No, where is he now?
Derby.
Right.
He's Andy Comfort, who's our drive presenter over here in East Yorkshire on Humberside. He's Derby's equivalent.
Right. So that's the thing, you see, people move for the job. That's how much they love the job. That's what they do for it. And
Hursty's Andy Comfort's equivalent in Leeds and West Yorkshire.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I've listened to Steph on Radio Leeds quite a few times actually.
Yeah, because she used to work with Darren at Viking.
Oh yes, yeah. What a partnership that. Well, the rest of the team as well on that breakfast show. But I think that was in the time where everybody listened to Viking. If you didn't listen to Viking at breakfast, then there was no point listening to any other radio station. It's just what everybody listened to. It was massive, absolutely massive.
Yeah, and I know we have a lot of big presenters over here in Hull region as well.
Certainly do. Certainly do.
And Hull Kingston Radio's setting the bar higher for the next generation like myself.
Absolutely. That's what we need.
And
You know,
we're not based far from the old KCFM building now. We're based in the One Business Village just off Headon Road.
Oh, right. You've moved from, was it the Freedom Centre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that move was fairly recent, wasn't it, to the new studios?
Yeah, I wasn't very far from. I walked past the old KCFM building the other day.
Yeah.
Because I had Rosie Madison on my podcast recently.
Oh, yes.
And Jim Coulson as well.
Yeah, Rosie and Jim from Breakfast at Viking back in the day as well, yeah.
Because she used to work at KCFM back in the day.
Yeah, she certainly did, yeah.
And there was also a presenter who Darren Leatham's trying to help me to get from Viking and KCFM, I believe, and Links FM. Sam Haywood, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who, when I said earlier, when I went to KCFM to cover maternity, that's whose maternity I went to cover, Sam Haywood's maternity.
Yeah, a lot of people who I know are big fans of hers.
Oh, I'll tell you a story. There was, because even though she was a presenter, Sam absolutely, and I'm sure she still does, she loved news reading, absolutely loved reading the news bulletins. And I remember when I'd moved from mid-mornings to drive on KC, and there was one afternoon that we were struggling for a newsreader. I don't know if somebody had gone off ill or somebody was on holiday, something like that. And Sam said, "Oh, I'll do it." And she jumped in at the last minute. She read the bulletin, absolutely spot on, like she'd done it the day before, like she hadn't had a break from it. And straight after that bulletin, somebody phoned up and said, "Was that Sam Haywood reading the news?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, I miss her on the radio." And you're absolutely right. People did love Sam on the radio. She was spot on. Absolutely, what a natural.
Yeah, she's hopefully coming down to our studio when we're allowed to have guests to do an interview.
Oh, that'd be good.
Myself.
Oh, yeah.
I think because I asked Darren Leatham, you see, because he knows her very well, because he knows a lot of people.
Yeah, certainly does.
And he's a bit like James Hogarth as well.
Yeah. Oh, James is a lovely guy. What a nice guy James is. You struggle to meet a nicer bloke.
Yeah, he's one of my heroes. I sometimes see him out and about in Hull because he works for the BBC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Links, I'm a bit disappointed with the way everything's going networked.
Sign of the times, isn't it?
Is your Links FM gone networked?
No, still the only network thing that we do take is the Bauer UK chart show on a Sunday afternoon. But you know, most radio stations are doing that. But no, apart from that, Links FM is still local right through the week and at the weekend, apart from the 3-hour chart show. So no networking. We're still well and truly local, and let's keep it that way. We're really proud of that.
I'm trying to get inside the Bauer Inner Circle by getting some of their presenters for interview.
Oh yeah, I'm sure lots of them will be up for it.
Because
lots of them will be up for it. You need to get Simon Mayo on with his big new drive time show on Greatest Hits Radio.
Your old mate Matt Hutchinson as well on our local.
Oh yeah, of course he does the opt out. Well, just moved to afternoons because obviously Mayo's on drive time now. So yeah, I'm sure Matt would be up for doing this. Get in touch with him.
I already have. I rang him a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because we were introduced by Darren, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I've interviewed Darren when he was doing his freelance.
Yeah.
Stuff in 2019. You see.
Yeah.
I just emailed him, and
Brilliant.
That's how I got a podcast with him, and that's how we got that interview was played out on the radio in my podcast radio show that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that partly got him the 80s gig that he's doing today.
He's got you to thank for that. Don't let him forget it.
And he's got the that was the final thing that persuaded him to come on to community radio, I think.
Yeah,
which is good because we need people like Darren Leatham.
absolutely. Yeah, he's spot on, is Darren. He'll do a good job for you.
Yeah, we also have Dan Murphy as well.
Oh yeah, I recognise the name, but I've never met him.
Yeah. Question 3. What is your favourite part of the job?
Ooh, now that is a tough question. What is a favourite part of the job? I think maybe the fact that every day is different, and I love the fact that radio can react to anything very, very quickly. So with a lot of TV, it's recorded weeks, sometimes months in advance, and can't be as reactive, particularly at the minute with everything that's happening and the news and this, that, and the other is changing so quickly. So I think that radio can react, and I can put that reaction across within, if you're doing a live show, if you're doing a completely live show within seconds, I do think that's great. And I love the interaction with listeners. I love the fact that listeners do view you as a friend, particularly at the minute. People stuck at home, and a lot of people maybe on their own, living on their own, not getting out because of a lockdown. I do love the fact that radio is such a friend to everybody. So yeah, I think that was one of them. I've got lots of favourite bits. Doing the job is an honour. It was a dream, as cheesy as that is back in the day, and I never thought I'd do it. So yeah, I'm honoured, particularly these days when there isn't as many jobs, there isn't as many radio stations. I'm honoured to be doing the job. So yeah, I think the favourite part of the job is to have a job apart from anything. But yeah, I do love listeners, speaking to listeners like their friends, and every day being different.
My favourite part about the job is meeting famous faces, meeting them, getting to know them and interviewing them.
So who's your favourite then? Who's your favourite that you interview?
It's got to be Dr. Fox that I interviewed last time, Neil Fox from Pop Idol and Radio.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was well impressed. Got to say, I was well impressed that you'd managed to get him on.
Because I just emailed him. That was all.
That's great, isn't it? I bet you were well chuffed with that.
Yeah, I was smiling from brim to brim.
I bet you were brilliant.
And I'm just trying to get a few other, also trying to get a KCFM legend who's worked for KCFM in the past. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him, Mr. Tony Blackburn.
No, do you know, I never have. Never met him. I've heard lots of stories, and people have told me what a nice guy he is, and I see lots of his stuff on Twitter and Instagram, all his little videos, and I'm sure he'd be up for it.
He's probably busy at the moment due to what's going on in the world.
I know he does radio shows here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, he's definitely a busy man, but one to definitely track down when you can.
Yeah, I'll track him down because he used to work for Gold, and Neil Fox actually told me a funny story in my last podcast about him.
All right.
About a sat nav, Tony Blackburn showing Neil Fox's new sat nav. Back
Brilliant.
in the Capital days.
Yeah, brilliant.
Question 4. How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
I think in one extreme it's affected it massively, and in another extreme it hasn't affected it at all. The extreme where it has affected it is that I was used to going into an office every day and seeing people and being out and about, meeting people all the time. And I absolutely loved that. And when I can do it again, I certainly will be doing it again, because that was a big part of why I do this job. So going from that to having to do a show from home every day, I really did struggle with that, particularly at the start, because it was just not what I was used to. I was used to, being out, as I say, meeting people, being in the studio, doing the show from the studio every day. So in that way, it affected me massively. There was, of course, pros to that, because it meant that I could get up at 10 to 6 for the breakfast show when I was doing that on Compass, instead of having to get up at 4:15 and drive to the studio. So that there was benefits. And then I think in the way that it hasn't affected me at all is that what actually comes out the speaker, what actually comes out of the radio is still very much the same, and is still very much important. As I was saying earlier, probably even more so right now, with people being at home and the radio being such a friend and a companion to people, that even though you're maybe having your own struggles with it, with the pandemic and dealing with it yourself, you've kind of got to, if you're having a bit of an off day, you're having a bit of a down day, you've got to leave that at the door, so to speak, and go on the radio and be that cheery person, and hopefully cheer somebody up if they're having a down day. I think we're all have and are still maybe having down days with the situation at the minute. So yeah, I think it's very important to remember that what does, even though how we're making radio is completely different to how we'd have ever imagined it a year ago. Being sent home with a USB mic and saying, there you go, crack on. Thinking, goodness, we're used to a studio, but actually what comes out the speaker should sound the same, and is important to sound the same, and hopefully try and keep some kind of normality for the listeners.
Yeah, and also you say, I think one of your colleagues as well, going back to the other point, I think one of your colleagues called George Smith, I think his name is.
Oh, yes.
Now works for the BBC in Lincolnshire and Humberside, does network shows.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And I think he's done well as well.
Oh, he's done really well, because getting in at the Beeb is not easy. Getting in at the BBC is easier said than done. So yeah, he's worked hard for it. He's worked unsociable hours, evenings, weekends to get what he wants. And yeah, fair play to him. Hats off to him.
Yeah, because I interviewed a lot of famous faces, you see, from the KCFM. Even Peter Levy I got.
Yeah, I've seen that. I was listening to the Peter Levy interview actually the other day. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, because someone at the Beeb got me inside. I just asked an official at the Beeb.
Oh, brilliant! And did you actually go there to meet him?
Yeah, I went inside the BBC.
Oh, I bet you enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I'm all and it's my dream one day, hopefully, to be the first autistic presenter on the BBC.
Oh, go for it. Keep that dream and go for it.
And also, that's why I'm trying to get Bauer presenters also, because I want them to know that I'm not a pushover.
Absolutely.
And
so it's you got to keep it going, keep it going, keep putting yourself forward, and that one that's what it's all about.
I want them to know if they try and, like a boxing match, they try and knock me down, I'll just get back up and scrape it off.
That's a good outlook on life. I like that. It's very good, very good.
And to prove that they want that, the future.
Yeah.
With different organisations. Because I always aspired to present on KCFM at first.
Yeah. It was a great station, KC. I really enjoyed my time there. It was brilliant.
Yeah, because it had legends like Ross, Darren, yourself, Paul.
Yeah, we were a great team there. It was really, really good. Really enjoyed it.
And there was a woman as well, Amy, I think her name was.
Oh, lovely Amy. Amy's one of my, she's just the nicest person you could wish to meet. She's lovely. Absolute delight.
She now works at Beverly FM, I believe.
She certainly does. Yeah, that's right. She's doing some shows there.
Yeah, there's a lot of presenters out there who are out of work, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the way the world's going, sadly, at the minute. But it just proves, even if people did do it once as a paid job and it means going into it as a voluntary thing for community radio and whatnot, people will do it. People love it. once you got radio in the blood, once you got the passion, it's very, very hard to get rid of. In fact, I don't think it goes anywhere.
Yeah. Question 5. Last question on the list. What advice would you give to young aspiring broadcasters who are starting out?
I would say never, ever give up. Never be put off by a no, because sadly you'll get more no's than you'll get yeses, but the yes will come eventually if you persist, if you be patient, and once you're in, that's when things really do, take off, and one thing leads to another. It was like with me, I as I said to you earlier, I waited a year. I sent a demo tape in, didn't hear anything for a year. And, it had been really easy to give up hope within that year. But I didn't. And all of a sudden it came. And from there, it led to the job that I'm still doing now. And what's that? That'll be 10 years ago next year. So, keep trying. Don't be put off by the no's. Send your demo tape here, there, and everywhere. Pester people. Even though it's not the best thing and you feel a bit awkward doing it, if it means sending another email in maybe a month's time, do it. It will get you where you want to eventually. If you dream big, as cheesy as it sounds, it will happen.
Yeah, because I'm doing that with a couple of Bauer and Global presenters as well. I'm trying to get them on board with this podcast, trying to get them in a podcast, because you never know, somebody who's working for an organization could listen to that podcast, say if the presenter was, for example, out of work, and offer them work.
So true. You never knew. That's another thing. You never know who's listening. With the radio, the podcasts, somebody could be listening, somebody hears you, right place, right time. That's it. Who knows what the future holds?
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, Ross, here on the Chatterbox podcast.
That's a pleasure. Thank you for asking me. I was honoured to be asked. Thank you very much.
Do join me again soon for another podcast, and we'll have broadcasting legend Martin Kellner. But for now, please give it up for Ross Carrick. Thank you very much for listening, and that's a wrap.
That was my interview with the legendary Ross Carrick from Links FM and loads of other radio stations around the region. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it learned you. Do join me again soon next time, where my special guest will be Martin Kellner. But for now, hope you like, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your day. BL out.